in terms of credit, the biggest thing is one, you want to be checking your credit score regularly. A lot of people don't, especially if they know that there's some stuff that's not okay with it. And the biggest things that you want to be looking at is how much you owe on your revolving debt. So your credit cards, Home Depot's, Macy's, all that kind of stuff. And then negative items. So negative items like late payments, collections, charge-offs. Those are the major things that are impacting your score. A lot of people focus on things that don't really matter, like opening different accounts or removing inquiries. And like those are not the major factors that impact your score. Your utilization, which is how much you owe, plus those negative items, that makes up 70% of your score. So that's what you need to actually focus on if you need to fix your score. And, it took me a while to figure this out. It took me years where I went from like a 465 to 520. It took me like 4 years to do that. Wow. And then when I bought my last house, it took me 4 months to go from a 520 to 660 because I understood how credit scores work. So a lot of us were just kind of doing random things and hoping that something's going to work. But the best way is to actually follow a specific plan, follow a specific blueprint. And for anybody that wants to buy a house, but their credit is what's holding them back, I do have a membership where, we go through how to actually understand how credit scores work and then how to create a plan that works for you. So you can get to buying your house sooner and not have to, do random things and hope that it works.
What are some steps that people need to do if they have, say, things still listed on their credit report as negative that they've either paid off or maybe it was there by mistake?
So items that are negative that you've paid off will still be on your credit report for up to 7 years. I know, it sucks. So the best way to navigate that is to actually negotiate to get it off in exchange for a payment. That way, because the only way it's going to help if it's just completely off of your credit report. Otherwise, it's going to be there for 7 years. Right. If you've already paid, then what you can do is do a goodwill letter to the original lender or the creditor, which is writing a letter and just saying, I'm so sorry, I really need you to remove this. Would you please do this for me? And just hoping that they take it off. Other than that, and you gotta just keep at it and keep asking if you've paid for it before. But the best way is to negotiate to delete it in exchange for a payment. And then the second part of the question. Remind me, Linda.
I just said, if they had items that were on their credit that either were there by mistake, so maybe due to identity theft or something. And how can they get, steps that they can take to get rid of that?
Yep. So if it's a case of identity theft specifically, that's actually could be, technically it should be easy to deal with. So you have to report that to the credit bureaus and then file a police report. And then with that police report, you're going to list out all the things that are fraudulent. And then the creditors will do an investigation and take it off. Oh, okay. So there is a process for that. If you go to any of the credit bureaus and you put in identity theft, there are the steps, but it will require a police report and then just extra follow-up on your part. Because sometimes, actually, a lot of times there are laws that are in your favor, but it doesn't mean that things happen as smoothly as they should. So expect to have to follow up and be on top of it to get it removed. And if it's small mistakes like, date of birth is wrong or name is wrong, that you would just contact the credit bureaus directly, write a letter. If it's, let's say, your date of birth, put the proof of the date of birth, write a letter, send it to them by certified mail. Then it takes about 30 days for you to get a response from them. And you're going to do this. Sometimes they will fix it right away. Sometimes they won't. A lot of times they won't. So again, it's a matter of following up. I know it's annoying, but it's following up to make sure it's done. And you do want to, if there's something wrong, like a name or a date of birth, you do want to fix that before you buy a house, because if you don't, the title company is the people that put together, that do the transfer of ownership. And if there's information on your credit report that doesn't match what you've given them, that's going to cause an extra delay in the process because they're going to want you to prove that this date of birth on your credit report is not correct. Right. So you do want to clear off all those incorrect items before you buy a house so that you don't, have this mess you up. And in our membership, like we walk through looking at your whole credit report, highlighting what's wrong, the process of getting it all fixed. And that's all before you even talk to a lender, so that by the time you get that pre-approval, you are good to go.
Right. The thing is, do your homework. Understand what it is that you can afford. Make sure you've got all your documents in a row, and don't buy a house that's outside of what you can afford, so you'll be house poor.
100%. Don't be house poor. The takeaway today is # don't be house poor. Don't do it. We don't like that.